On Friday, last Friday, I shared these questions that were asked in one of the data analytics role with booking.com, which is into trip, flight booking, hotel booking, and they have asked these questions. You will see that typically they have mostly asked SQL questions, first four questions with respect to writing the scripts in front of the screen. And if you see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all these are conceptual data engineering, SQL related, DBA related questions. I am going to discuss all of these in detail. I am going to write queries for 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll create the database, insert records into the tables, and then we are going to work on queries, and then we will discuss how you can answer 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A lot times what I have observed is there are a lot of students who might be knowing the concepts a bit or in advance, but they may not be able to frame it. So I will help you in framing that. And then if you see the guesstimate questions, we will see how we can answer the guesstimate questions. As you may know that there are there is no right or wrong answer in the case of guesstimate questions, but what they see is the approach. How do you approach to solve a problem? And that is what we are going to discuss. Then we have got uh, case study questions, right? We are going to see here the business understanding in terms of hotel industry, flight industry, and then we are also going to see if you add some product features, how it behaves, those kind of things we are going to see. Very much relevant, and it will help you in preparing for your further upcoming interviews. Okay, so here we are, data analytics full interview questions and solutions. First, we are going to solve these four questions, SQL questions. To do that, I am going to launch my SQL workbench. Okay, so I'm going to drop the booking.com. Here you won't see any. I am going to create it now. So I have created, say, use booking.com. So you will see tables, views, stored proc, and functions. The first question is this: calculate the cancellation rate for each room type over the last 6 months, considering only bookings with a minimum stay of 2 nights. So let's copy this and put it here so that we can refer it back and forth. So I will just put things from here to over here. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the cancellation rate for each room type, like AC deluxe or family room or standard double room, those kind of room. So we are going to do the analysis on that. This analysis will help us in understanding which room types in different Indian tourist destinations are more prone to cancellations, because we need to understand the cancellation side of it. You can imagine it like you are working as an analyst and you notice that certain room types like non-AC standard rooms in Goa might have a high cancellation rate during summer, while heated family room in Manali are rarely cancelled in winter. This insight will help you in creating targeted promotions, how you can sell it better. We will create a table. Okay, so let's create this table. So we are creating booking.com bookings. Booking ID is the primary key. Property name, city where this is located, room type, types of room, booking date, check-in date, okay, and checkout date. All right, so this is what we have done here. And then in the status, we will keep it whether it is confirmed or whether it is cancelled. We will run this. Let's see. What have we got? Then we are doing select star from booking.com bookings. Okay, so if we just run this, we don't have any output because we haven't inserted any data, right? So we are going to insert some data. These are the records that we want to paste, all right? So we want to paste across all these columns. Let's run this. What have we got in booking.com bookings? Let's see it here. So if you just run this again, then what we see is booking ID, property name, city, room type, and all these are there. So you will see that we have got confirmed and we have got cancelled, all of this, right? So now we are going to write the logic behind it. We are going to solve this problem using temporary table, because that gives us better understanding. Stepwise approach it would be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create temporary table, and then let's say temp filtered bookings. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to filter the bookings. Okay, so what we are going to do, select room type, the room type column, and then status. From which table? Booking.com bookings, this table. And then we are going to filter the bookings that were made in last 6 months. Why is it so? Because if you see it here, over the last 6 months, so we need to filter that, right? So what we will do is, where booking date is greater than equal to, we are going to subtract it from, let's say, today's date. Okay, and in an interval of 6 months. So basically we are going to subtract that. Okay, and if you see the another logic, so let's run this from here all the way till here. Okay, so if you just run this, we have got all of these based on last 6 months. But if you see the second logic, what is it? Considering only bookings with a minimum stay of 2 nights, we need to apply this logic as well. Minimum stay of 2 nights. So what we'll do is, let's run this again to see the table as well in parallel. So if you see, minimum stay of 2 nights means this would be dependent on check-in date and check-out date, right? So what we will do is, we are going to say and date difference. We are going to use date difference here, check out date, right? Check out date, comma, check in date, right? This should be greater than equal to 2 because that was the minimum. And now we are going to run it, right? We are going to run all of these including temporary table because we want to store that in the temporary table. Okay, so now it has been executed. Now we will run this temporary filtered bookings here to see what is stored there, right? So what I will do is, let's run this. So you see, all those data is filtered where the bookings were in last 6 months and having a minimum of 2 days of stay, right? That was the first step. Second step that we are going to follow is, which is step 2, we are going to calculate the cancellation rate from the above temp table. That is what we are going to do. Okay, to do that, what we are going to do is, we are going to start with select and then room type, comma, count of star as total relevant bookings. And now what we are going to do is, we are going to check on this cancelled part, right? If it is cancelled, then we are going to store it as 1, and if it is not, then we are going to store it as 0. Okay, and then we are going to use that status to calculate the cancellation percentage. Okay, so to do that, we are going to use case when sum case when status equal to cancelled. Okay, then what we are going to say, 1 else 0, and as cancelled bookings, that is cancelled bookings, but we need to calculate the percentage as well. Okay, so sum case when, same thing as above, but we are going to do the percentage calculations. We will do that very soon, else 0, and here we are going to multiply it by 100 because we are doing the percentage calculation, and then count of star, okay, as cancelled percentage. Okay, cancel percentage from where? From this temporary filtered bookings, right? Now let's see, if I just run this, what do I get it? Let's see, right? I'm getting error. right? Obvious. The reason being because we haven't grouped it yet. We are saying here count star, but then we haven't grouped it yet. This is important. A lot times people miss, student miss on this. So group by room type. Okay, and then now let's run this. Let's see what we get. So now if you see it here, I will just remove this one. So if you see it here, AC Deluxe total relevant bookings were 3, cancelled 1. So hence 1 by 3, 33%. Heated family rooms 200% because nothing were cancelled. In this case, 2 to 100% cancellations. So now you have a better understanding of your cancellation percent. Okay, all right. So we are going to now discuss the second question of booking.com data analytics interview questions. The second question is determine the average conversion rate confirmed bookings versus search events for users grouped by their country and device type. Let's copy it here. By this metric, what consultant or data analyst want to understand is the activity of users across different cities, how they are using their app to convert from search to order, final order, whether they are using mobile or laptop or tablet or how they are doing it, right? So that is what we are trying to understand over here. To get this started, we will first create a table. So booking.com user searches that we are creating. So we will run this. There is error because it's already created, so I will do the drop table if exist, because I just created it, so hence I'm just dropping it. So here is this. Okay, so now there are no errors. Now I'm going to also create another table which is booking.com confirmed bookings. We are going to have two sets of tables here. We are also going to see the joins because there are two tables, obviously there would be joins. Before we get things started, we need to insert the data, right? So if you just see, select star from this, select star from this, you would see nothing. And likewise, if you just run this one as well, you would see nothing. The reason because we haven't inserted the data yet. Okay, blank. So let's insert the data. What I will do is I will put this data over here. So this is for booking.com user searches. So run this. And for bookings, I'm doing this. So now I have ensured that both of these tables are interlinked. Now if you run this, so if you run this here, you will see the tables are populated, right? So we have the data now, correct? Now what I'm going to do is, what we need to do, please keep this in mind, we need to determine the average conversion rate, right? So we are going to create a temporary table that will store the count of searches per segment. Okay, so step 1, create a temp table to store the count of searches per segment. Okay, so create temporary table temp search counts. I'm using temporary table because it helps us in dividing the steps into multiple steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take user location here, basically city. Okay, user location comma device type and then count of star as total searches, because we need to know how many searches they have done. Okay, from where? From the first table. What was first table? It is booking.com user searches. As booking.com user searches, group by, right? What group by? Sorry, not here. My bad. Okay, this. Okay, group by user location and device type. I will just copy paste this here and then we'll run this. Okay, so if I just run this, and what I will do is I will just select a star from this temp table.
Okay, so if you see it here, Mumbai, mobile, desktop, we can see the count of searches for each city and device type, right? That is our step one. Now the second step is, once this is done, what we are going to do is we are going to create a secondary temporary table where we are going to store the count of bookings per segment. Now we have stored count of searches per segment, right? Now we are going to a temporary table, create a temp table to store the count of bookings per segment, okay? Which means that successful order conversion. So that is what we are going to do, very similar way, and we are going to then use these tables to create the final output. To do this, we need to use which table? Select star from confirmed bookings table, because that's where confirmed data is. So we are going to utilize this one. So I just run it so that you can see it, refer it, and write it. Okay. So what we will do is create temporary table. We will call temp booking counts as select user location. Almost similar. So what I will do is I will just copy paste from here and will put it. So select user location, device type, count of star as, this is not total searches, this is going to be confirmed total bookings. Let's call it total bookings. Okay, and from which table? From confirmed booking tables, and then we will group it by user location device type and we will run it. Okay, so if we when we run it, and if I just see this table here, what is into this temp table which we just created, so select star from, not alter, select star from, and I will just run this. You will see that these are the user IDs that were created. Now, if you just see the temporary table that we just created, so what I will do is I will just replace it here, select star from temp booking counts. If I just run this, you will see that from each of these cities, Mumbai mobile one, Delhi Mumbai desktop one. So this is sample data. That's why you will see it is pretty straightforward in terms of data, but that's okay. Now, in terms of the third step, third step is we are going to join the temporary both the temporary tables to calculate the final conversion rate. So what was there in first temporary table, temporary search counts, and what is here? Let's just have a look. So I will just run both of these. So what we have in search count is, if you see it here, we have got searches like from Mumbai mobile. There are two searches, but if you see Mumbai mobile, there is just one conversion, final conversion. Mumbai desktop two, but Mumbai desktop there is just one conversion, right? Now Delhi desktop one searches, but there are no bookings from Delhi desktop. So that is the conversion rate that we are going to calculate, right? So what we will do is we are going to use both tables to calculate conversion rate. Okay. The common link between these two tables are user location, right? Here user location is also common, here also user location is common. We can utilize this. So let's get started here. So let's write this. So select. Now, here, since we are going to write the join, so what I will do is, first of all, I will write the join concept itself. So what I will do, I will first keep this search counts, let's call it SC, and then left join, the second one is booking count, and then let's call it BC on SC dot user location, right, equal to BC dot user location, right? What we are also going to do is we are also going to include another constraint here that is based on sc dot device type, because that should match, then only we would be able to do the right logic calculations, right? Why? Because if you see Mumbai mobile, here also we are going to check on Mumbai mobile, right? So that combination should be there. We could have created another column and done that, but that's fine, we can do it from here. So this is the logic. Okay, so now from here what I will do is, we want to have user location, so let's take from user location, which is search count, and then sc dot device type, device type, and sc dot total searches, because we want to see the total searches as well. Now what we are going to do is we are now going to calculate the total bookings. So I will start with if null, because if there are anything like zero for segments that have searches but there were no bookings, that we saw, like, right, daily desktop, there were bookings but no searches, so that would be captured in if null, right? So bc dot total bookings comma 0 as total bookings, right? And then next we are going to have the conversion percentages as well. So here also I'm going to start with uh, if null bc dot total bookings comma 0 into 100 divided by sc dot total searches. So it is very much obvious. The reason being, you are going to divide the total bookings by total searches. That is the logic that says, right? Now we are going to say conversion booking percentage. Okay, from temporary search counts, and this all these are fine. So now let's run it. Let's see what we are getting. So if we just run this, so what we see is, you see, Mumbai mobile total searches were 2, total bookings 1, hence 50%. Now we are talking about daily desktop. Daily desktop 1, 0, and hence 0. Right? So all those are captured in if null as well. So likewise, you can see that if there would have been a lot data, so we could have said that, okay, from daily desktop, they are searching on desktop, but we don't have any bookings, 0%, right? However, in the case of Bangalore, if it is tablet, then it is 100%. So basically, it helps you in making your website, your applications better, and such questions are quite commonly asked because it is the business. Okay, so this is about second question. Okay, now let's get into third question. Third question is, identify properties that have consistently underperformed compared to the average booking rate of their region over the last 12 months. Quite common, right? Why this is common? The reason being, you need to know the properties that aren't performing, and hence you can take business actions based on it, right? So you can be an account manager. You need to know in a specific region if a property is working or not. So those things we need to do. Okay, so what we are going to do is, we are going to create two tables, right? We are going to insert the data over there, and then we are going to further write the query. So here is the small script to insert, to create the tables. So we are going to create booking com properties, because we want to store the properties, and then on those properties the bookings. So we have got two tables. Let's insert the records as well over there. So insert into booking properties, so I just run it, and then booking.com properties, I just run it. You will see that we have got the data, property id, property name, so on and so forth. Now I will also insert the data into bookings, right? So this is another script. Now if you just run this, so what you see is we have got data as well, right? Property id, and for those ids, booking date, when it was booked. So the very first step is, we are going to create a temporary table to get monthly booking count for each property that had at least one booking, that is the successful booking that they had. So that is what we are going to do. So create a temp table to store the property which has at least one booking. So this is what we are going to do. So create temporary table temp monthly property bookings as. So we are going to do select property ID, and then we need to know the booking month as well, right? So to do that, we are going to use date format on which column? On booking date column, right? That is the date column that we have got. And then here we need to specify the format, in which format we need. We want in year and month format, right? So I'm just going to specify that. You can specify it using this way, as booking month, right? And then count of booking id, right? How many times it was booked, in a month, so monthly booking count. Okay, from booking com property bookings, right? So from this one, right? So I have created this temporary table, and not here, it won't end here. We need to also filter it by, we need to also filter it by this, because we need to know in the last 12 months. This is the logic that we have to put. So we will apply that filter as well, where booking date is greater than equal to, we are going to use date sub, and then today's date 2025/07/13, and in an interval of 12 months, right? Because we need to have that 12-month gap in between. So in an interval of 12 month, here is something here, so let's put it this. Okay, perfect, there are no errors now. And then we need to do the group by as well, because we have done the count part here. So we are going to do the group by on property id comma booking month. Okay, so this should work now. So now let's run it. So no errors, fantastic. So let's see what we have got in the temporary table. We should be having the expected output. So if you see it here, amazing. So all for all these property IDs, you see booking month, and then in that specific month, how many bookings were done. So if you see 101 August 20241, again for the same property ID, it was in December 20241, and so on and so forth. Right. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to create another temporary table to get the average monthly bookings for each region wise, right? There were two tables, if you remember. So I will just run this again. So if you see it here, this is the booking date, and then here we have got region wise. So now we are going to create that. Okay. So step two is create another temp table to get the average monthly bookings for each region. Okay, so we are going to do create temporary table temp regional average as. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to use both of these tables. If you see it here, both of these tables to create it, to write this query. So what I will do is I will do the join concept first. That's what I usually do. So the tables are booking.com properties, and let's copy this here and let's put it here. Okay, so from booking property bookings here, and then I say join. If I'm not mentioning anything, it means that it is inner join, right? This is booking properties. Here let's call it pb, and then here let's call it p on. Obviously it is going to be pb dot property id and equal to p dot again property id, right? So let's put this logic in place. I will just remove this. Now the logic part of join is done. What we need to do is we need to have the region. So let's have the region, and then we need to also have the booking month. So let's copy this what we wrote earlier. So we will paste it here. Date format. This is going to be pb dot booking date, and then rest is going to be same. Now we need to have the average, right? What is the average? Average is total bookings in that region for that month divided by number of properties in that region, right? So if you see North Goa, the total properties, so that would be in the denominator. In the numerator, it is going to be the total bookings in that region for that month, right? So what I will do is, to do that, we are going to do count of pb dot booking id divided by, and in the denominator we need to match the region wise as well, right? So what I will do is I will put that logic as well here. So select count of star from which table? Booking.com properties, booking.com properties where region is equal to P. This is important because we need to match that region, right? We need to specify in that region only. So in the numerator, we are having going to have total bookings, and in the denominator, we are going to have the total number of properties, and that is the reason why I have done count of a star and in that specific region. Please note this is very important. Otherwise, you will miss. So average regional bookings, right? So if you see the logic behind average is what is the logic? Average is equal to total bookings in each month divided by number of properties in that region. And that is what we have done over here from from the logic that we have already written, and where we need to have the the 12-month logic here as well. So I will just copy paste this because we need only for last 12 months, right? And then this is going to be pb dot booking date, and then interval and all these things are fine. And now group by region and booking month. So let's again copy this here. So group by we have got region. So let's copy this p dot region here. And then booking month is going to be booking month. Now let's see what is inside. Select star from temp regional average, and then let's run it. So now we will see that here we have got the expected output. So North Goa, the regional bookings is this. North Goa on this month is this. Likewise, so on and so forth. Right? We have got regional average as well. This was step two. Now in the step three, we are going to join the temp tables, all the temporary tables, to find properties performing below the regional average. Right? We have got regional average here. We are going to now do the comparison, and that logic we are going to apply. So this is the way, this is the time where condition will find matches because of our improved data. So let's see how do we do it. So what we'll do is the steps. Next step is step 3. This is obviously a bit tricky, not the usual join. So join the temp tables to find properties performing below their national regional not national their regional average. So if you see the original problems, right? Original problem was identify properties that are consistently underperformed compared to the average booking, right? So that is what we are going to do. In the last step, right? You can write it in one go. We could have used CTEs as well. Eventually, if you learn this, you would be able to write using CTE pretty easily. But here we are using temporary tables. Okay, now we are going to do select and the join part. So we are going to do start from temporary monthly bookings, right? So property bookings. So we are going to do that temporary the temp monthly property bookings join. We are going to join this with booking com properties, and that is basically our original table. So I will just copy paste this from here all the way till here. So this is the table that we want, booking properties, and let's call it mpb, and here let's call it p. On the common link is mpb dot property id equal to p dot property id, and then we are going to write the join again. So join, now we are going to apply the regional average, right? The one that we created, so this one, and then let's call it ra on p dot region, because you remember that we need to do the analysis on region wise, right? And then we are going to say in a specific month as well. So booking month equal to ra dot. What we did here is, let's try to understand that. First, we got the monthly property bookings, and then we are joining it using booking com properties because we need to align the same property, and then we need to also align same region with the same month, and that is what we have done it here with that logic. Now this is done. Once this is done, we are going to have p dot property name. This is the result that we want to see. So p dot region, and then mpb dot booking month that we have there, and then mpb dot, if you see it, what was here, select this one, select star from. So if we just run this, we have got monthly booking count. So monthly booking count. Okay. Now we are going to have the average here, average regional bookings. This was our column, right? And then average it as 2 as regional average bookings. Okay, from these things. Okay, fine. When we come here and then here we say where, we need to find the properties whose actual booking are strictly less than the average, right? That is what we need to do. So we need to have that less than logic here. So mpb dot, in mpb we have got monthly booking count, monthly booking count, and that should be less than average regional bookings. Now if you remember, we have got average regional bookings here, right, into this table. So if you see, select the star from, there are multiple tables, so you might get confused, and hence it is worth uh, running it and see it. So if you see this column, right, so it should be less than, so it should be less than here, hence we are writing average regional bookings. So we need to have that less than, and then we can write order by, that is fine. We will do it later. So now let's run this. If you run this, so you see Baga Beach Bliss, North Goa, booking month 1, it is less. The regional is 1.67, but monthly is just 1, and hence it is less than. But others, if you see the others, where this one, if you see this, here we have got booking property. If you see this one, sorry, my bad. If you see this one, here we have got a lot of, right, regions, but all these are not part of the output. The output is just these two. Okay, now let's go to fourth question. What is the fourth question? Detect instances of demand surge where the number of bookings in an hour exceeds the hourly average by more than 50%, right? There might be different reasons behind such surge, and we need to understand that the logic is demand surge where the number of bookings in an hour exceeds the hourly average. First, we'll have to calculate the hourly average, and then we will have to apply the logic, because whenever it increases by 50%. Okay, so let's copy this from here and then put it here. I'm going to do the same thing again. uh, Create temporary tables, insert records, and then utilize those. Okay, so let's do that. What I will do is I will go ahead and create this table. So if you just see, select star from, assume that we have got hourly booking log. It depends on schema, architecture, what kind of tables are there, but let's assume that we have got this table, and let's insert the records into this as well, right? So if we just insert the records, and when we just run this, so what you see is booking timestamp, property id, log id, all these are like whenever it has got booked. So all these things we have got it here, right? We are now going to do step by step process, again temporary tables. So in the first table we are going to create a temporary table that would store booking counts for each hour, right? So the first step is store booking counts for each hour, right? So create temporary table, temp hourly counts as, select. What we need to do now is, this is the table, right? We need to group all the timestamps into our buckets, right? So if it is like from 8:15 to 8:30, this is going to be, 8 bucket, right? So that is what we need to do. Again, this is something, date formatting, how do you format the dates and all those things, that is basically tested. So what we'll do is, for to do this, we are going to use date format. Here we come, and then which column, booking timestamp, because there only we have got the data, and then here we will apply the format is what, y, and then month, right, and then day, and then h, right. This is hour, right. Here we are saying, not here, here we are saying 0000, and then close it as booking hour. Okay, so this is this booking hour, and then we are going to also say count of star as hourly booking count from which table, the table that we created, booking.com hourly booking log, and then group it by what, booking hour that we just created, right, booking hour. Let's see how it goes. If I just run this, no errors, that's amazing. So select the star from temporary hour counts, okay, and then let's just run this. We have got, right, booking hour is 8, whatever was there. Okay, so I will just, what I will do is, for your benefit, I will just run this so that we can understand it better. I will run both of these together. Now if you see the first table, 8:15, 8:30, right? So if you see at 8 hours there we have got 2. Now 10, 5, 10, 10, 10, 20, 10, 30, 10, 55. So hence you see 5. So that is the categorization or buckets creation that we did, right? Okay. As part of step 2, we are going to store this into variable. So we are going to set a variable at the rate of average hourly bookings, and that is basically select average hourly booking count that we just created from which table, temporarily hourly counts, the one that we created here, right. So just run it. Okay, so this is the variable that we created, so we stored it, no errors, thankfully. In the third step, we are going to select the hours from our temp table that qualify as a search, right. If you remember the question that we were given, detect instances of demand surge where the number of bookings in an hour exceeds the hourly average by more than 50%. So that is the logic that we need to apply. So what we need to do is we need to take select and then from the table that is over here, average value is stored in this variable. We are going to utilize that, but what are the columns that we need? So first is, let's call it HC hourly count, and then not here, this is going to be into the next line, HC booking hour comma HC dot hourly booking count comma, and then round off the average value, the one that we created here, right. So let's just put it here, comma 2 as overall average bookings from temp hourly counts table, where now this is where we are going to apply the search logic, right, greater than 50%, right. So this one, hourly average by more than 50%. Now what we'll do is we will apply on hourly booking count greater than at the rate the variable that we created here. So we will use this and this into 1.5 because we need to calculate greater than, we need to make sure that it is greater than by 50%, and hence it is going to be 1.5. Now let's run this. If we just run this, we are done, right? So if you see it here, we are going to have booking hour 10, hourly booking count 5. However, overall average was 2.57, and hence this was a search. It here, and let's just run this. We will just compare it. Okay, so now if you see it here, In this case, at 8, the hourly booking count is 2. However, it is not coming here because it is less than the average bookings. Now, same goes for 12, 14, 15 as well. At 19, we have got 6, and hence it is coming here. So amazing. We have got the output using query that we wrote here. We have also used variable, quite important to use variables over here. All right, thank you. Make sure that you follow the next half of this entire discussions as well, where I'm going to discuss the logics behind other questions. Thank you.